You are a published author now. Yay. And I meant to grab your book, but I actually think it's in Atlanta. I don't think I have it here in Miami because I wanted to
I have
get it.
it. I have my
Oh, good. There
copy.
you have it. Because I was like, oh, I was gonna hold it up, but I was like, I think it's in Atlanta. Because I was looking at it on my shelf and it's not here. So your research in your doctoral program, did that contribute to what ended up being published in the form of a book?
Yes and no.
Talk to me.
So my research in my doctoral program was on father nurture
Mm-hmm.
and how father nurture contributes to the leadership development capacities of children. So
Mm,
morally, cognitively, and socio-emotionally.
okay.
So originally, I was going to follow up with that as in the form of a book.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle of this thought, oh, gosh, I'm trying to make these stories so short.
It's okay. It's
So,
fun.
in the middle of this thought, I had this moment where I was like calling my best friend and I was in tears. I was like, I feel like God don't talk to me. Like, I'll do all of this spiritual work and I want to be able to hear his voice loud and
Silence.
clear. Like,
Silence.
yes, I'm like just silent.
Yeah.
And she was like, girlfriend, you have one of you are a person with one of the strongest intuitions that I know.
Mm.
And she was like, your spirit of discernment is so strong. You don't feel like that's how he's talking to you?
Yeah.
And I was like, is it? Like, is
Maybe.
it?
Is that right?
Maybe. And so then I had another conversation with my cousin, and I asked him about his relationship and does he feel like God talks to him?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, I feel like he says, he talks to me. And I was like, how do you know it's him? He was like, well, I hear his voice just as clear as I hear yours. And I'm like, what? Like,
Mm.
really? It's that
Mm.
clear?
Yeah.
And so I'm having these conversations. I'm in my feelings. Like, girl, when I tell you, I was like boo-hooing. And so one night I'm at home drinking Pinot Grigio in the basement, watching a movie. I remember it loud and clear. In the middle of the movie, I
Mm-hmm.
hear 365 Days of Leadership.
Hmm.
And I thought I
Loud
was
and
tripping.
clear. Loud
Right.
and clear.
I thought I was tripping. Mind you, I'm halfway through a bottle of Pinot Grigio.
Yeah. But sometimes you need that to just calm your nerves.
And so, me having my moment, I came upstairs to refill my glass of Pinot
Mm-hmm.
Grigio and walked by the mirror, and I heard it again 365 Days of Leadership.
Mm.
And I was like, really? Okay. I looked in the mirror, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with it. And so, literally starting that night, I just started making inserts. And
Mm-hmm.
until I got to 365, it was just like some days, 20 days might come.
Yeah.
Another day, I might get 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
Another day, I might get 45 days.
Yeah.
But until I got to 365, and then I prayed on it, and I was just like, okay, God, like, now how do I package it? I was like, because I do not know what to do with this.
Like I
And so I was just,
365. Now
yes,
what?
no,
Right.
I need direction.
Yeah.
And so fast forward, when people ask me how I got to 365, I could really just have to say I listened to God. Like I moved when He told me to move.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's something that has come as I've developed in my spiritual relationship
Mm-hmm.
and being in isolation, and which is another thing that I think comes with entrepreneurship and business ownership.
Sure.
The power of stillness,
Yeah.
like not having to discern between, okay, I'm always around these people. Is it their idea, my idea, their voice, my voice? Like
That's
when you're
true.
in,
God's voice,
yeah,
my voice, his voice, like
yeah.
her voice,
And,
his voice. Who
and
said
so I
that?
think just right. And so I think just being able to be in that place of isolation, the only voice you have to discern between is yours and God,
Yeah.
or yours and the higher power. And so it comes so much more clear when
Mm-hmm.
you aren't constantly bombarded by the chaos, the noise, the networking, the events, or
Oh, that's so true.
being in the other spaces. So
No, that's so true.
uh, so that's how 365 days of leadership
Well, I
happened.
love it. I mean, I still think, because it is progressive. It's like, well, you went to go get your doctorate, which you weren't going to do initially, and then you studied leadership and got really passionate about it, and then did
Right.
whatever research you needed to do, and then it does sort of evolve. But I do love that, now you have not just the dissertation, but you have this other published work that can serve so many people.
Yeah,
Yay.
and the thing is, from the dissertation, it was kind of a segue. Like, so in the middle of me doing my research for my dissertation, I did start finding more information on self-awareness, self-efficacy, because when I was trying to find these constructs to use during my dissertation, whether I wanted to focus on, you know, cognitive, morally, social, even though I end up using all of them, I was finding all of this other information that was interconnected in just the person developing in a healthy capacity. And so when, you know, like I said, my 3 keys, self-efficacy, self-awareness, and emotional IQ, and that just became like a repetitive source of information or feed when I was doing my research. So